All right. Well, it's awesome to follow Brian because what we're trying to do at Jump Aero is create the fastest form of sustainable personal transportation in the world. And we're going to use it to get first responders to the scene of rural emergencies as fast as possible. So, if you're not familiar with the challenges in rural America today, there's a huge issue where hospitals are shutting down. The first response is handled mostly by volunteer organizations. And it's taking longer and longer for when you call 911 to get a first responder to the scene of your emergency. This is a huge issue and it's getting worse. It's compounded by a paramedic shortage because they can't pay paramedics enough. Frankly, these are some of our best people, our people who are going out there and saving lives every day. And they're being paid peanuts, frankly. They're delivering some of the most valuable services that we all count on as a society. And it's all contributing to a lack of timely response that is getting worse on a daily basis. So at Jump Aero, we're out to help solve that problem. We want to give our first responder heroes the ability to get to more emergencies with one person to save more lives every day than they could otherwise. And we're doing that by solving the distance time problem, right? Today, the standard of care in first response, if you're an ambulance company, is you agree you will get to a certain fraction of emergencies within 8 minutes. That can be done very easily in urban areas and suburban areas, but in rural America, it's basically impossible. You've got long distances and you're going in an ambulance, and it doesn't matter if you're going 80 miles per hour. On average, the first response time is twice as long in a rural area than it is in an urban or suburban area. And a few minutes makes a big difference. You may think it's not that big of a deal. But if you have an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, of which there are over 350,000 every year in the United States, and you lose oxygen to your brain, you're on the clock at that point. You're going to be unconscious very quickly. If you can get help within the first 10 minutes, you've got a reasonable chance of pulling through. But once you get out to about 15 minutes, really the game's over for most folks. So for 60 million Americans today, the average first response time is 14 and a half minutes in rural areas. At Jump Aero, we can cut that in half. That has the potential to save on the order of 100,000 lives a year. So what we're doing is we're enabling faster first response by giving first responders the ability to get to the emergency faster. We're not transporting patients or doing anything like that. We are just getting there faster, stopping the bleed, getting oxygen to the brain, waiting for the reinforcements to show up. How does it work? Well, we do have an app on your phone, so anybody can use this. Once you push the button on the app will route your call right to your normal 911 system. So we sit in parallel and on top of the standard first response system. We're not getting in the way of anything. But we have a contract with you, the customer. You allow us to listen into your call, and you give us your GPS information, where you are specifically. We go, if we can. We fly to the scene in our electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. We land closer to the emergency than any helicopter could land. We stabilize the patient, and we wait for reinforcements. If we were to base an aircraft at Noss Field, which is right down in northern Nevada, we could get to any location inside this green circle in less than 8 minutes. That has the potential to save about 655 lives per year, just in this area. And we have good first response here, by the way, compared to most of the United States. So, what is Jump Aero about? We're about enabling faster first response. We have the potential to save over 100,000 lives per year just in the United States. We're going to deploy using a subscription business model to any rural location that has any sort of concentration of people that is high enough to meet the threshold for viability, which turns out to be about 2 people per square mile with this type of system. So that's it for me. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.